Well, here you can start sharing the information. Yours concerned the history or some of the history of this person.
Yeah.
And what you had found, go ahead and remind us all.
Yeah, he was, I think, former soldier, former army, worked like fell off the grid, major in the army. Ranger, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So one of the various forms of rangers in Sweden, whatever it might have been, and fell off the grid when he moved to Africa or to work, private contract work, military contract work. For whom I didn't actually know. I didn't learn who actually he worked for, so she would have to continue looking into that. But some organization in, I think, Central and Eastern Africa.
Well, it's when you guys were all talking about this that I think it's very easy to give you the way this information's coming together, especially with the various results you've received. There are certain things I'm going to be able to tell you and certain things that I'm not. Okay. Let me
and we're talking about the thief.
Yes.
Now, right?
Yeah.
Here's where the information starts coming together. Once you get what you've observed, and even though, and you've learned more, that gives you information you can use. You learned about the data mining here. You had actually seen
the
traces of this in other systems. And you knew about the military aspect of the data center, which is a very, very... you had charmed them enough that they gave up a lot of information about that.
Yeah.
That there's actually those missile tests and things that
are
stored there.
That makes a lot of sense. It's like that is something that people would go to many and extraneous lengths, sacrificing others,
right,
to get hold of.
Yeah. So what you're going to find is that there was as he basically left the military and became a private contractor with a group that was a small army, almost, or at least associated with a small army. This would have been sort of a special squad formed in it that became somewhat notorious. They were really good and mostly Canadians. And they broke away from that contracting group that was sort of official, right? It actually had
it can have contracts,
right? I mean, right, and so it was literally a contractor. Some of us would call those mercenaries, but since it's paid for by U.S. tax money, then they pretend that it's
illegal to be a mercenary, but you in charter,
right? Exactly. So you don't call it that. No. So, but then they did become mercenaries.
Oh yeah.
That squad broke away and started. Basically, as the years went by, they got shadier and shadier. It started to be, well, now we do black ops for them, for the same people. Well, then we'll do black ops for whoever.
Yeah.
Right. And so the group, and by then they were going by their old nickname, which was now really this organization. And they named it after a famous snake of Central and Southern Africa, which is called the boomslang. So they started being called boomslang as their group.
Afrikaans.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So from the region that they worked in, right, across northern Nigeria and Niger, and over toward Djibouti, and that zone, which, as you know, is an extraordinarily confusing conflict zone with lots of people who are willing to pay you to do
Sahel
shady
sort
things.
Of area.
Oh yeah,
It's a little south of the actual Sahel.
Oh
yeah.
But
plenty of interesting conflicts haven't taken place there over the years. Where
so these guys, as the years went by, seemed to be getting into the nastier end of that, and they completely lost any identity as actual contractors.
Yeah.
And as they did so, as you're beginning to get a better picture of this, some other names, the leader throughout is actually a woman, a Canadian named Francie Majorana. And as it seems as though through her contacts, the word what became that the Boomslang has superhuman abilities. As that information became more prevalent, because the early records, like the Swedish records, then the regular contractor records, don't have any sign of that at all. But also it got smaller and smaller and smaller as a group. And there isn't much on record for the last 2-3 years. In fact, nothing.
Imagine criminal groups don't keep, their audits.
Right. But by the time you're done looking at this, you're actually looking at dubious journalism.
Yes.
Right, rather than anything else. You're looking, you're discovering rumors. And,
things of quality of that.
Yeah.
Often is like, yes, some journalists traveled here,
Yeah.
and they probably met them or met someone who had met them. It's a bit unclear.
Right.
He changed his
Or
mind
there's
throughout
been testimony to the
Yeah.
UN, but it was from shell-shocked survivors.
Yeah.
So who knows, right?
You're not going to get that opinion.
Right. So
Unless you ask them.
you putting this together and actually having you clearly met,
Yes.
a member of Boomslang, and the shady quality and the fact that he's deteriorating like this, it's they don't look well.
Yeah.
Right.
Might be,
But you don't really, let's see, I didn't see a red result on anything,
Nope.
right? So I'm not going to tell you powers and things like that.
no, except
But except for what you've
Been
observed.
Yeah, it's more like we have some confirmation slash allegations that they actually have powers.
The only Swedish connection is actually Nilsson himself. It's not as though they were never actually hired by Sweden.
No.
He just happens to be Swedish
Oh.
when he hooked up with the squad as a contractor.
Yeah, and it's more like the squad themselves having achieved powers, or like
Right.
just started rumors after a while, like after the group has been known, established.
Yeah.
It's like, oh shit, they have powers.
Yeah.
Says someone on the Reddit.
Exactly.
But they
Yeah.
also they don't lean any particular way. They don't have any like political or like
By their
allegations.
final stages, it almost reaches a disturbing level of cynicism. Right.
That's
I mean,
payment.
yeah, but
They
but you have,
that-
especially in this region, you have Wagner and so on. These
that's what I'm
Russian-
saying. That's what I'm saying.
But
There's-
those are just they're Russian soldiers. They are just calling themselves mercenaries.
Right.
But they're working for the Russian state.
So
Same
at this
Chinese.
Yeah. At this point, they, even Wagner or people like them, probably would be avoiding
Yes.
using Boomslang.
Yeah.
Because they're now working for some grotesque warlord over a province. And then getting paid by that guy's enemy to kill the guy after all. And, it's starting to, you don't have details on this. This is sort of the picture that's
Exactly.
emerging
It's just
through multiple
rumor,
different
hearsay,
accounts.
yeah.
But at least with Wagner, you can start to still figure out that, like, they still serve Russia in some
Yes.
way.
They follow policy of some kind. Right. Yeah.
But these are just completely unpredictable.
Right.
Sort of have no reputation to think of. Them.
Right.
They're difficult to work with, so to speak.
Mad dogs.
Yeah. Of course, though, apparently very effective.
Yeah.
Most
Very
people who
good to go.
deteriorate this badly in that situation are not going to survive.
Yeah, they got
After-
self-destruct.
Yeah. And so this is, it's not looking like a pretty picture in terms of opponents.
Yeah.
Maybe
And we
the
know-
Mad Dogs have a master
Mhm.
keeping them in check.
Mhm.
But at least we know at least one guy is in Sweden.
Mhm.
The other people are, well, and of course there would be no record of them. To,
No, not
follow.
for you to.
No,
yeah,
exactly.
Not for you to find. Yeah.
That might be one that you can kick up the... Because this was a cold case. This was
Yeah.
actually... He's connected to a criminal activity, so
Mm-hmm.
interaction work can actually kick it up.
Right.
But,
Right.
Yeah.
The cold case was the data mining, the data flaws that
Yeah.
Nina had found, but they didn't make enough sense for any particular department to
But
really follow up on it.
which guy that you investigated? Which
Same guy.
is it?
Yeah.
It's
okay.
it's not the lawyer thing. It was pretty early on. Last session, he had you. Was it a random encounter? No,
No, it wasn't.
Like,
It was.
actually-
It's part of battle,
yeah.
right? There's campaign, battle, and aftermath.
Okay.
And so
battle is
related
fighting.
to. Well, no, battle is the whole problem of the situation.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's not just hitting each other with fists or
Right.
with sharp
No,
sticks.
no,
It's like figuring out. I have a brain. I know what you did.
But also, I think
Or-
the point is that yes, Nina can kick it up, and maybe the police will eventually ask Europol, Interpol,
Right.
whatever. Like they might eventually get through. Like,
But they need something to work with.
yeah, they need, and they now they have something, but still, it's like
Mhm.
this is probably not the highest priority.
And it's like even if the camera footage from the data center comes to the police, is he
I was just thinking
close
about
enough
that.
looking that it's an immediate
Well,
case of?
he just looks like a glowing, possibly Swedish guy.
Didn't he revert when he was knocked out?
Yes, correct. But I mean, he fell down. It's not like you're getting a lot of data out of that.
Yeah.
So, so the point is, I was just thinking about that. I don't think the camera footage would yield investigable results unless you had correspondence data, which you do.
Yeah,
But it's going to be rather tricky to
Happens
put
to be-
that to the police now. Like, how did you get that? Why?
I think
Right.
at maybe the high end, it could be reported to some sort of unit that deals with threats of this level. That this is potentially like a security threat, like on a higher level. Again, it basically goes out of her hands in any way. Like
Right.
We have the option to
Yeah.
escalate at least.
Right, right.
She might actually do it.
But at the moment, you also have the concern that this fellow and who knows who else is active
Yeah,
right here.
exactly.
We shall at least make the assumption that he's not working alone.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No celebrations just because we happen to grab him.
Right, and you didn't catch him after all.
Indeed.
Right. So, now it is time to decide what you will do. Say, this evening. By the way, there's a dress.
this evening or the next day that we have the. When was the gala?
That's it. Right now in the game, it's about 6 p.m., 7 p.m. on Tuesday.
All right.
The gala is Friday.
Okay, yeah.
And I forgot to mention, there's a dress code.
Which is why he's working
Right.
on his getting his.
Right. But you might be looking left and right at your somewhat shabby friends.
Well, Nina isn't going to be invited as herself, obviously.
Oh, yeah, you'd be showing up as Silver
Yeah.
Knights. But, means a nicer costume might be called for if you wanted to. If you're supposed to stand there and look like Silver Knights and in front of everybody. You
Might consider it.
just look up what a suit costs.
Yeah.
That's what it would take to actually make a pretty nice costume between now and then. I just love the idea of you guys actually having like a dress costume.
Yeah.
Dress outfit.
It's like Spider-Man. Having Spider-Man's first costume, and like,
Yeah. I'm not wearing that.
yeah, that how many pants on your head?
That's right. Yeah.
It might be. I might actually come up.
Yeah.
There might be a way.
Mm-hmm.
We'll see.
All right.
But I would also be invited as Renée.
That's right.
So,
Yeah.
and the picture of me was just black.
Well, it's an interesting question.
would
When
I?
you really go full Renée then,
Yeah,
and you're not invisible,
yeah.
what do you look like?
That's a good question.
You should think about that. You could, in many ways, you could just have like a distorted face, like a weather distorted face or something like that. But it's up to you.
Yeah.
You could literally be just like blurry, right, or something like that.
Just a
Yeah.
fog effect.
Yeah.
From your color,
I think.
obscuring your head.
I think if I were actually like using my powers, it should be more that I'm not really seen, but I should have a version of me when I just
Talk to people
Yeah,
as
exactly.
Renée Vivinden.
Because
Yeah,
it
absolutely.
would be very weird if I would just
That's right.
like flying around.
Exactly. It's like-
It is a power invisibility. It's not a body modification turning you permanently invisible.
Right, correct.
It's just
the
a power,
itself.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So that makes sense. It's something that you trigger. So.
I can use like
So think about that.
yeah.
Right. Okay, so next. this is where we move into sort of more proactive things. What will you be concerning yourself with? Do you want to? Your situation with Nor seems to be rather personal. Don't know,
Very personal.
right? And so I'm going to ask if you're going to do anything social, or are you going to go home and dream of circuit boards or whatever it is that Kevin dreams of?
So this is after we've met
Mhm.
and talked.
Do you want to continue with the conversation to arrive at a plan of some kind, or what to focus on?
Probably. I mean,
We have a
makes-
few days.
Yeah.
Are we gonna?
We can always meet again in like I would mention the dress code. Like
Mhm.
I'm gonna work getting my old he hasn't used it in a while because it has been probably was like a couple of years ago. Like when he helped stop the forest fires of the
Right.
day. But
Right.
you're just like okay. I brought
It's a
that
classic
out of-
picture, right?
Oh yeah, this is gonna be about like mainly because his main power is fire related. He's gonna be like, oh, those forest fired up in North Sweden. Like, yeah, he went around there a lot. And
That's your orange one. That outfit,
yeah, I mean
that's the orange one.
yeah. It's probably would be one that. I mean, yeah, his base outfit is orange.
Oh, okay. All right.
Industrial orange.
Yeah, the industrial robot one, but also like it fits in surprisingly well with firefighters.
That's what I was thinking. Yeah.
Yeah.
Very visible.
You were about to say something?
I guess I was thinking about like, do we have a plan for
Right.
the Friday, the gala thing, more than just what that we have to dress nicely? Are we there like to just show off?
Kind of.
Yeah,
To,
also
like-
to keep an eye on things, given
Yeah.
that, well, we know our perpetrator.
Mm.
We have a good idea of who it is.
Mm.
We have some indications on this Francie Mairama.
Right.
We
Time to start using some
Well,
investigation. You want to be a little more
maybe we should
proactive.
do some more digging on her should she happen. Because that's another, the other known name we have for this association is that like, how does she look like?
Mhm.
What will we do if like, oh shit, that's her at the
Right.
gala?
Mhm.
Mm.
Right.
So we
You also
should,
may want to get, just FYI, you may want to get ahead of the game rather than just preparing and assuming that that's when they're going to do something.
Yeah.
Because
they might just do
they-
it before then.
they,
To
yeah, who
What
knows?
kind of
Yeah.
investigating could we do?
There's a lot.
yeah, I mean we could.
There's a lot of data hacking,
Mm.
which is the kind of thing you're good at.
Mm.
And there's a
To
lot.
find out what was interesting.
Well, there's a couple of interesting points. You could,
Because I'm kind of assuming that the military aspect, like
Mhm.
the missile thing, was but we don't know that.
you don't know it, right?
I think we could do like a temporary device, couldn't we?
Mm-hmm.
I think Merv would be interested in trying to make a temporary device that can make sure that try to stop the phasing effect of the perpetrator. See if I can build something to stop that from happening
At the data center.
and install that at the data center to make sure that it's protected until such a time that we can get it up and running and have a proper security apparatus at place.
Mm.
That is fantastic. Let us
Wouldn't it be simpler just to place
kit
charges on
bashing.
the...
make a one-shot
Transformation
throwaway version.
Oh.
And you would look at how many resource points that you have on hand. Make up the difference with karma points, throwaway item, number of rounds equal to the item's cost.
Mhm.
And
I
this
have
is where we
remarkable resources.
Yeah. And let's just quickly check on time. Because I want to be sure of what a round is. If I'm remembering correctly, a round is actually only a few seconds long. So let's talk about what this thing does. First of all, it's really big. And second, what we're really talking about is a protective function, right?
Yes.
It's not a vehicle.
Probably would be like size of like a electrical substation or something. Like
That's what I'm talking
there
about.
should be like, he probably would even like, yeah, you know what? Let's make it look like an electrical substation, even to camouflage it from.
Yeah. So that's going to be. We're going to add 100 resource points to that after we do the basics. And given the intensity of what you observed, it's pretty good if you're probably, given you being Kevin with all the things you're good at, you can estimate what rank the protection would have to be.
Yeah.
Or to put it this way, you would, upon looking at what he was doing, the word that would pop into your head is, wow, that's remarkable. And so, strangely, that's what corresponds. So, therefore, if we're talking, I'm just looking at what would, in a way, this kind of ends up being describable by the power force field, because it's a barrier.
Yeah,
of a
makes sense.
specific
Makes
size.
sense.
Yeah.
So it looks like a fence, kind of?
No, it actually looks like a data bank,
Yeah,
data processing kind of
Oh, okay.
equipment.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
It's basically an addition to the data center's
Oh, okay.
functions. And so, let's see here. What is with you board gamers are always screaming about
Oh,
things?
I don't know. I don't know.
Hold on a minute.
Excitement of a good road.
I guess.
Okay, so if we go to force field prevents attacks from entering or leaving the protected area. It's technically a psyche power, but it doesn't have to be. Concentrate on the barrier to maintain it. Oh, actually, this is sort of interesting. Both of you have psychic force attacks. You actually may want to tune it to your own mental force abilities and actually have it replicate that. So the two of you are going to have to work together on this.
Yeah, I mean, I have amazing psyche.
Yeah, well, it's also kind of funny that you you're probably, but you don't have the mental force attack that Kevin has. So in a way, it's kind of funny that you would like put on like a cyber helmet, right, and like use your power, and you are busy, looking it up.
It's like,
Right.
would be one way. Like, okay, we have tuned it.
I think it would be force field generation, and if you want it to be remarkable, then that's really all we're talking about. Other than that, it's the size. The size of the device fills the room, but the size of the force field is bigger than that, right? That's actually the maximum. That's going to be plus 300 points. So for remarkable, it's only 30 points. Its materials are actually going to require some aspects, I think. There. But really, it's just, soft metals, light machinery, right?
Yeah,
it's not,
exactly.
it
what
doesn't
is.
have to, yeah.
Like machine.
So therefore, it's good. So that's 40. 40 plus, so 40 actually would be, that becomes 400, but that's 400 times 10 seconds, that's 4,000 seconds. How many is 4,000 seconds? How many hours is that?
4,000 divided by 60.
Uh-huh.
Let me bring up the calculator.
Thank you.
That's 66 minutes.
Okay. What was the number I said? 400? 4,000.
Yeah.
Right. I forgot to add the, so now it's 4,300. 4,300. Divide that by
4,300 divided by 60 is 71 minutes.
71 minutes. It will take you an hour and 11 minutes to make this device.
All right.
And however, there's more to it. That also requires the resource points.
All right.
And what is your resource points at the moment?
What do I even? It says you start with weeks.
Hold on.
Resource points.
Wait. Hold on.
It's in these sheets over here.
It's in
Table resources.
Yeah, it does say that is what you
Weekly rate.
Yes, and it does say by resource in part 4.
Yeah.
It does, however, state that as a high-tech wonder, if
We
you
know
have
that, yeah.
excellent or below, you start with 210.
Yeah, we know that. So,
But if you are above 210, above excellent, you start with less.
no, I don't want to get into that right now. Right now, we're talking about you, and you're not a high-tech wonder. So we'll add Kevin's resource points when and if necessary. There's an answer to this which is very, very, very easy.
All right.
Because the number of resource points associated with your lifestyle is listed somewhere, and it's very, very. It's like even on those sheets that I gave you. I know it is, but we're just going to have to suffer for a minute while we.
Is it on page 8, variable abilities? In one of the books, I don't know which actually.
Yeah.
Probably that.
Resources.
Orange one.
There.
Yeah.
Got it. Yes. Table 5. And so here with Remarkable, you've got 1,000 resource points at hand right here.
Mm-hmm.
And what we talked about, 4,300 is 430 to make this thing. So 430 is actually, no, wait, that was with the addition. Hold on. Back up. 4,000. 4,300. Nope, 4,300. You need all of it. 4,300 is the time in hours. That's resource points times 10, so it's 430. Okay.
All right.
So you have the resources you need for this. You just have to lose 430 out of your 1,000.
All right.
So you don't even have to tap into Kevin's resources.
No, that's fine.
Okay. I don't really understand what you're talking about, but
We're talking about how much wealth resources have to be expended to do this.
Okay.
If you didn't have enough, you couldn't.
Okay.
Although you can make it up with karma.
Well,
You can make up the difference. That's one
Okay.
of those edge case karma
and
spot
because
rules.
it's
Yeah.
I would go out and do it.
Especially for
fundraising.
when you can't do that for long-term inventions, but you can do it for a one-time.
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
And because it's Moore that's doing this.
Right, but you're helping.
Yeah.
So it talks, I was about to go here to the helping rules for
Okay.
inventions
Okay.
because I wanted to mention process, inventing and building. Right. Divided by the number of hours by the number of people working to find the overall time. So strangely enough, this will actually take you between 30 and 40 minutes. You guys are really good at this. You whip this up pretty fast.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right. With theme music.
No,
There is industrial theme music, right?
The montage.
Yeah, of you guys putting this together. And so that means you can actually deliver this by close of day.
Yeah, probably
Late that night or early the next morning, you can actually deliver it.
Yeah.
It takes a little while to install. So let's say it would be installed through the course of the morning.
Yeah.
We're not quite there yet. That is what makes
Well,
you guys keeps you guys
that's
happy,
my plan for
right?
the next day then, to get
And-
that installed.